I had a best friend in middle school who, at any point, I think I could have gotten horny.
Hello, and welcome to the Roast of Your Teenage Self podcast. I am your host, your roast coming queen, a girl who fully lost her shit when she was in a different AP US history class than her boyfriend, Alise Morales. And with us today, guys, we have such a fun friend. He is the host of Hot Dog on HBO Max, the co-host of the Las Culturistas podcast, a star of stage and screen, a personal friend of mine. But before all of that, he was a graduate of Islip High School on Long Island. It's Matt Rogers.
Hello. Wow. My Buccaneer roots. Thank you for bringing them to the forefront.
I do always like to ask about the mascot situation. So you guys were the
Mhm.
Buccaneers.
We very much were the Buccaneers, which is sort of a gayer word for pirate. I really appreciated being a Buccaneer. Loved. It was kind of like one of those like great words. It was like to have spelling wise when you were young. Like I can spell Buccaneer. It's like saying you
Yes.
can spell Mississippi. Um, but yeah, we were Buccaneers, and our colors were gold and purple. Also gay.
Wow. Okay, we were burgundy and gold.
That is
The straight version.
No, honestly, I feel burgundy and gold is queer. Also, not to sort of call certain colors queer, but it's understood that purple and gold, you're a buccaneer, not a pirate. You know what I mean?
Well, I do remember, I do remember that there was an all boys school in our area and their color was purple. Or it was like purple and white, and everyone was like, the all boys school is gay and their colors are purple and it's gay.
Honestly, it's actually a really chic colors. I don't know, like people are just mad because not everyone can pull it off. But it's really I loved like I was into sports when I was in high school. So I was running track. I say into sports. I ran track and cross country. That's what it was. As into sports as that was, I avoided playing with balls and on teams at all costs. But I loved like running in my little like purple jersey, and it was such like a gorgeous color. You know what I mean? Just like with the little yellow lettering. Sometimes we'd have like a gold outline on the jersey, but it was always like purple was like the featured color, which I loved. And my prom tie was purple.
That's beautiful. So, okay, Islip High School, the Buccaneers. What flavor of high school are we talking about here?
Yeah, so my high school it had 270 kids in each class, which
Okay.
I feel is like small town enough where everyone knows each other, but not well enough like where everyone knows each other well. Like everyone thought they had a good general idea of each other, which is just perfect. Mwah, chef's kiss for like a high school setting where rumors can spread about nearly everyone in that way where it's like the person spreading the rumors / gossip thinks they are informed, so it's like, oh, that's Matt Rogers, he does track, is probably gay, is funny sometimes, you know what I mean? Like that was sort of like, and he lives north of Montauk, which means I wasn't rich like the rest of the kids.
Okay.
So there's like that was sort of the deal, and also like buzzings about who was dating who, but I wouldn't consider it like a small town, but it wasn't. The school was certainly not big. It lived somewhere in the middle there. Sports driven.
I feel like
it had every club.
In a similar situation where it's like the Mean Girls High School was pretty much a good approximation.
Actually, yeah.
Going
like
on.
the cafeteria layout reminded me of my cafeteria layout, if that makes any sense at all. Just like the vibe of what was happening there, not necessarily in terms of demographics. I actually thought that Tina Fey's demographics were a little weird, but especially now in retrospect.
Yes.
But it was similar to that. Like I was like, I recognize this as being mapping for my high school well.
100%. 100%.
Sports driven for sure. Like the most popular kids were like the kids that did sports. And we had a theater program, but it was like not one that I was involved in because it would have meant I was gay to do it.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna ask is, so you were not performing at this time?
No, not at all. And it wasn't for lack of wanting to in a debilitating way. Like I really wanted to so badly do the musicals and stuff. And I'm actually a very, like, I don't know, you've known me for years. You know me to be a very performative person.
I was gonna say you also have a beautiful voice.
Thank you for saying that. I wanted so badly to sing in high school. In fact, like, I would sort of mess around at karaoke with my friends on the weekends, and a couple of my girlfriends were like, "You really should audition. You should be in swing choir with us, your friends." Like, but I got too in my head about
What is
it.
swing choir?
Swing choir was like chorus, but for people that actually were good. Like anyone could join the chorus. You know, it was like if you could wake up early enough, you could join band or chorus. Like maybe band, they would kick you out, but chorus, like you stand there and fake singing. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like an extracurricular.
You know,
Whereas swing choir was like you had to audition. And I remember I even like prepared the song that we had to sing, which was My Funny Valentine. And then I just didn't go. Yeah. I got too anxious. Yeah.
All right. So you're doing sports at this time. I'm
Mhm.
getting the feeling that you are not out at this time.
Absolutely not. No, I didn't come out of the closet until my summer after my freshman year at college. So I even did a year at NYU where I was
Not
quote
out.
unquote straight. Yeah, but all throughout high school, it was just too much. You know, there was no way I could have come out, and I honestly believe that had I come out, I wouldn't have been supported in a way where I needed to be. It wasn't a thing of like, oh, that's a shame you felt like you couldn't do it. It's like, no, I couldn't have done it.
Yeah,
You know?
I was thinking about this recently because I I feel like there were kids at my high school where everyone was like, he's gay, and we all know. But I don't think that there was anyone who was really actively out when I was at school. And I know that we like had a gay straight alliance and stuff, and me and all my friends, like, we were like,
Yeah.
I feel like gay marriage was my first like foray into
Big
politics.
stand.
Yeah, I was like, I went from being one of those kids who said that's so gay in middle school to being the girl on the bus who was like, it's bad to say it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I will tell you why, and then like get in a fight.
Well, at the time, it was so powerful for girls to be saying that because the guys cared what the girls thought. And also, like, I don't know. It's just like, as gay, I said it too. And
Yeah.
me as a gay man was never going to stick up for myself. So straight guys were never going to turn the corner and do that because it was too popular to be homophobic. Thanks, Eminem. And
Marshall.
Marshall, and gay guys were never going to do it because we were too fucking afraid to be the one to be like, I was scared in my like AP US history and AP government class to say that I was pro gay marriage. I used to say I was pro civil unions. I was like, I just don't think we should call it marriage. I know. Well, yeah.
The Pope has moved from living in the 1500s to like 2005. So,
yeah.
Like,
that's where he's at.
Yeah, the Pope is in 2005 now.
But it was important for like girls, my contemporaries that were young ladies, to kind of step up and be like, don't do this, even though it was annoying
emo
for them
girls.
too. Yeah, like emo girls, the powerful emo girls, really, the power that they had, they didn't know. But I'm appreciative of them for exercising the power.
But what was interesting is that I used all of my emo power on that, and I was completely uneducated on any feminist issues, and always was like, girls are mean, and I actually like guys, and other girls are sluts. So it's very interesting. It's like I could project progressive thought to this other group, but I didn't have any of it reserved for myself.
It's so interesting, like the things that you take on as your own opinions, because you have to pick your battles. Like I decided, because I couldn't be pro gay marriage loudly in my like social studies classes, I was vehement about abortion rights. I was like, this is a bottom liner for me, that we cannot be telling women what to do with their bodies. I don't care what it is. Like, I was like very vocal about it, and actually earned the moniker of very liberal from my teacher. He's like, you're the most liberal person in the class. And I was like, God damn right I am. And I'm not even being honest and passionate about the one that I fucking need.
That's so, I mean, it's such a flip, because I feel like if you had asked Teen Alise, she would have been like, yeah, abortions, we're supposed to have those. But also it's like, I get why people don't want to have that. Like, but so it's so interesting that as teenagers, it's like you can be compassionate out, but you're not ready to like do it inward for yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you feel like, because you're obviously one of Las Culturistas,
I am one of them.
do you feel like pop culture influenced your politics and whatnot? Because I know for me, it was being into like punk and emo music at the time that was all like, fuck Bush, the Iraq war is bad. Like that made me be like, okay, it's actually fucking cool to be political. And I agree with this. And now like I'm a politics girl.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, for me, very similarly, what I was absorbing that I truly loved was like the comedy of Margaret Cho, and I
Past
used to
guest on the
love.
show.
Oh,
We
yes,
just had her and she was
yes.
the best.
She's an icon for sure.
Yeah.
We've had her on Las Culturistas too.
Yes.
She's something. But she was hugely formative for me, and I remember all of her stand-up albums. I just would listen to them, and even though I didn't get a lot of it explicitly, like I didn't know what a colonic was, you know what I mean? Like I didn't get like why the movie Beaches was funny for her to do like a riff about how gay it is, but I did inherently. There was something in it that I identified, and she was extremely liberal.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Like, why aren't we able to get married? Like, I don't understand. Like, what is the big fucking deal? Like, I know in my heart I wasn't like made incorrectly. So what's going on? Why? Like, it really scared me as someone who saw like a nuclear family as a thing to aspire to. I really felt like, this would be unattainable for me. And she was pointing out the injustice in that. On the flip side, there was, like I mentioned before, like very popularly, there was Eminem. Like he was the biggest mainstream pop star, which is what he was because he was making popular music. Like I know he was a rap artist, but he was on pop radio. So he was the biggest pop star at the time, maybe him and like Britney Spears.
Yeah.
And she had no politics. So his like views on gays and on women, like really deeply sickened me, but I still bought the Eminem show because everyone had it. And so have we talked about this? Like, I remember like my favorite thing when I would buy CDs was I would look through the packaging, like, and I would read the lyrics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that packaging for the Eminem show was like him just having murdered his audience. Like it was like he was just like shot up his audience basically.
Yeah.
And there was photos of them all dead. And it was like clear that he did it. And I was just like, this has upset me and hurt me in such a deep, dark way. And I'm so sad that this is mainstream and millions of people went out and bought this. And no one's talking about the fact that this is like violent and hurtful and really crazy.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I bought the Eminem show and I liked it. Like when I was in middle school and stuff, I was like, Eminem's funny and he like talks about your butt and stuff. And like and then I remember my parents have just a good friend who's gay and he was visiting over the house and I mentioned liking Eminem and he said to me like, well, not all the stuff that he says is good. And it was like, it was the first time anyone had ever checked me. Like, and I was like a kid and I was like, oh, well, and it was the first time that I kind of made the connection of like, no, these lyrics are harmful and they hurt my friend and they hurt my dad's friend. And it like changed my ability to be into the album and to be into him at all. Cause I thought he was like cute and like,
well, he was hot is the thing too. That's another part of it. Like another part of it that no one talks about is Eminem is really cute and has like a fucking rockin' ass. And so for me as like a true little homo, it was this, and there were these, he would love to take pictures shirtless. And like a lot of my like friends that were straight would have pictures of Eminem on their wall and you can see like his very red nipple and stuff. And I was just like, I'm so deeply horny for Eminem. He hates me so much based on what he says.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating and like dark for me.
Let's look through some of these photos that you
I guess.
Because you
Oh my God. Okay, can I say something? I looked good.
First of all, I'm going to say you look good. Second of all, I'm going to say you're doing the straight thing and you're doing it well.
Honestly, okay, so this is where I reveal some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This was a quote unquote white trash party, if you can believe it. And that's why I've got this sort of like what we called wife beaters at the time. We know to call them tank tops now.
I remember the first time also that I was like, oh, that's not good.
Literally, Alise, like last year, I was looking at it, I was like, this like wife beater. And I heard the words come out of my mouth and I'm like, oh my God. We were calling it a wife beater. Anyway, yes, this was a white trash party. I was at, I think that I really never wore hats. All my girlfriends told me I looked bad in hats. So this was huge to have the excuse. The girl in this picture, I won't say her name, but we used to sort of make out every now and then. There was like some up and down with us, and I actually genuinely was attracted to her in high school and couldn't figure out why. Come to find out, she's absolutely mage lesbian now. So this makes a ton of sense, and we actually both went to NYU.
You mutually bearded for each other.
Well, we were never officially dated, but we always had like a connection. And I never understood it. I was like, why of all the girls here am I attracted more at all to this one than everyone else? And then I realized later, it's like, I don't know what it was. It was like a cosmic connection that we had.
Yes.
But yeah, this was, and of course you can see beer pong in the back.
I was gonna say the setup that you can see in the back is such a classic high school house party scenario. So is this a parent who's out of town that we're looking at?
This is actually my friend Val's house, and her mom was kind of out of sight, out of mind about the whole thing. I think she was not around that night. She might have been out doing something, but this was like one of the houses where we could go. Like very, if you're gonna drink, I'd rather you do it in the house energy.
Yes. Yeah.
But so my parents were certainly not like that. So this was a big night. But usually, like someone's parents would be gone or out of town or out of the house for a certain amount of time on any given weekend. But this one just so happened to be a night at Val's, and we're playing beer pong in the back there. That's my best friend in high school. His name was Kenny.
Getting that table racked up.
He went to UDEL.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, which is where I met you. Yep. So that weekend that I was in UDEL and we were there doing a comedy festival, I guess, like your improv troupe was hosting it. That I was actually half also there to go hang out with him and all my friends. And he was my best friend in high school and also my unrequited love of my life.
So was that going on at this point? Like, were you?
Oh, deeply in love with him at this point. Deeply. But he's like the best person ever, and like was so cool when I came out of the closet, and like it was not even a thing, like love me just the same. We had some ups and downs when I feel like he thought I was like not being honest with him, but it's hard. Like I remember thinking to myself at that time, like if I tell anyone and they're not cool with it, it's fine, but he has to be cool with it. Like that was where I was at. It would have crushed me had he like rejected me at that point, but he did not. And he is a beautiful man still to this day. And he's got a little baby named Amelia, and he's married to Erica, who he's been dating since I think they were like freshmen in high school. I actually like kind of played a role in getting them together.
Well, there you go.
I used to sit in the room with them while they'd hook up behind me. I'd be on Facebook on the computer and they'd be in the back like hooking up, and I would just be like the most sick mix of like devastated and like pleased to be there. Too good.
Hello, everyone. Today's episode of the Roast of Your Teenage Self podcast is brought to you by Candid. Ding! Just like imagine that my teeth, like I did a smile and then there was a start. You get it. It's like a cartoon thing. You know, all the things that we'd love to do for ourselves but haven't done for whatever reason. For me, I always wanted straighter teeth and a better smile. It's one of those things when you get involved in Hollywood, they're like, are you going to buy new teeth? Are you going to buy all new teeth? And then they're kind of weirdly too perfect and they're not really your teeth. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to get weird teeth. And I'm done putting off making my regular normal teeth look straighter. Thanks to Candid, straightening my teeth is simpler, easier, and more comfortable than ever. Candid clear aligners are comfortable, removable, and practically invisible, unlike wire braces or crazy, weird, fake ceramic teeth. So you can transform your smile without anyone noticing. Plus, your treatment is prescribed and monitored by a licensed orthodontist who's an expert in tooth movement, and it's all done from the comfort and convenience of your own home. I know when I was getting started, I was like, am I going to have to go see some random orthodontist? I don't really want to have to do that. I'm trying to not leave my house that much, but no. Candid only works with orthodontists, never dentists like other companies. Plus, your supervising orthodontist will be with you every step of the way, again, virtually, so you don't have to leave your home. With Candid, your treatment includes remote monitoring by the same orthodontist who created your plan. So you never have to wonder how you're doing. You'll always know. I love that. And the average Candid treatment is only 6 months, and you'll start seeing results way before then. And it costs thousands less than braces. Start straightening your teeth today. Right now, all of my listeners can save $75 on Candid Starter Kit. Go to candidco.com/teenself and use code teenself. That's candidco.com/teenself, code teenself. Take advantage of this limited time offer to save $75 on your starter kit. candidco.com/teenself, code teenself. You got it. I said it enough times. You guys know. What up, y'all? Today's episode of the Roast of Your Teenage Self podcast is brought to you by Magic Spoon. We've talked on this podcast about how in high school, every morning for breakfast, I would drink a full sugar Coke from the vending machine and then wonder why I felt extremely bad all day long. Well, this year I have been trying to develop better breakfasting habits, and I can do that in the most delicious way possible thanks to Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon is 0 sugar, 11 grams of protein, and only 3 net grams of carbs in each serving. So you can start your day out with something sweet and something tasty, just like when you were a teen, but without ripping a hole in your stomach first thing in the morning with a full sugar Coke from the vending machine. Magic Spoon comes with 4 flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and blueberry. It tastes amazing, and I'm not saying that it tastes amazing and it doesn't really taste amazing, and I'm just saying that because they're sponsoring the show. Magic Spoon is really good. It genuinely tastes extremely good. I have become a cereal person because of Magic Spoon in a way that even the sugary cereals of our past have never done for me, because those make me feel guilty when I'm an adult, and I feel bad, and I'm like, I shouldn't have eaten that, but not with Magic Spoon. Okay, Magic Spoon is keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. I got the variety pack, so I got one of each of the flavors. I have finished cocoa. I have finished blueberry. They came less than a week ago. So I'm going to need to be getting myself another variety pack soon. I cannot personally review fruity and frosted yet, but if they are as good as cocoa and blueberry, I will be done with Magic Spoon by the end of the week. So go to magicspoon.com/roast to grab a variety pack and try today. And be sure to use our promo code ROAST at checkout to get free shipping. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product. It's backed by a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund you your money. No questions asked. You don't have to send them back the cereal. They specifically told me that on the phone when I talked to them. They were like, please don't send us half-eaten boxes of cereal. It's fine. We'll refund you your money. We don't need your unopened cereal. Now, so to get your Magic Spoon, which you won't be returning for any reason because it is delicious, that's magicspoon.com/roast and use the code ROAST for free shipping. And we thank Magic Spoon so much for sponsoring the podcast. Now I'm Italian.
Okay, let's go through some more of these photos because they're really stunning.
This is a huge deal. So
Okay.
this was at a track camp. So this was the second track camp that I ever went to, because the first track camp I went to, a girl showed me attention and I got so nervous about how it would progress that I had an anxiety attack, a full panic attack, and got extremely sick because of it and had to leave the camp.
Oh my God.
So, oh yeah. So I it's a very long story that involves like a milkshake dance social that like I sort of grinded with her at like the social, and then everyone thought, oh, that now tomorrow night you guys will probably make out. And I was like so panicked about that I completely had a meltdown. And years later, I would reconnect with that girl at a random OAR concert. I swear to God, I kid you not. And things
like
proceeded from there.
The social pressure around grinding in general. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember like when I had to go to a dance and like I literally practiced kind of grinding in the mirror to be like, am I doing this right? Like,
Yeah,
what?
you can't really do it wrong. It's just
No.
allowing someone to rub up on you. It's really as kind of weird as it sounds.
Yeah. It's like all the dances we went to were literally children rubbing their genitals on each other. And that was the whole dance. And now when I go out dancing, I mean, maybe I'll grind a little bit, but for the most part, I'm like, woo! Like, I'm just not doing that at all.
Yeah, no, I don't care at all. I'd rather be by myself so I can like perform.
Yeah.
But this was the track camp that I made it through. So this was the end of the week at track camp. This is me and all the girls from East Islip High School. So I was the only person from Islip High School there because I was the only one who took track seriously enough. And so all these girls were from East Islip, and I sort of knew them just from the track scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have supplied you with, we took this picture. This was the last day of camp. And then they all wanted pictures with me individually.
Okay.
So I now, yep. That was me and Cassandra, who I actually went on a date with, and that it didn't happen, but she actually was cute. Oh my God. And so this next one, I forget her name, but I think her name was
like
Chelsea. She was sort of having fun with the picture.
Yeah. And I do want to say that all of these pictures, each of these girls represents a very specific early 2000s track girl style.
Yeah. And they're also like, they would all grow up to be really good co-hosts on The View.
Yeah.
Like there is such a good demographically like specific.
Yes.
Like cross-section of girls.
Like this particular type of Abercrombie, like I guess that's like an Empire top.
Yep. Look how uncomfortable I am being hugged in my track jacket that says Rogers. Look at me. She's hugging like around my arm, which is taped to my side.
Yes. Your like the bottom half of your bodies could not be further apart.
Oh, I know. I think do I get more comfortable? Let's see. Looks like I was most comfortable. Yeah, like that's there's something there with me and this blonde girl.
And here's another one of the tops with the cami lace.
Like, what do you call this top?
See, it's not a cami because the cami is more fitted on the bottom.
But it's like a maternity shirt.
It's a maternity.
It's really like it's like either a young baby toddler's dress or a maternity gown. Like,
yes, it looks like a christening dress.
Yes, if it were just a little bit longer, like it's like Nicole Kidman's wearing it in The Beguiled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I'm letting her kind of get some waist there.
Yeah.
My hand is on the shoulder. I think me and this girl were more friendly.
Absolutely.
But let's see. Okay, so now, see, me and Steph, this is Steph. We were like, we didn't have a romantic thing, but we had a connection.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see, I'm letting her get like, we're having full body contact here. And I'm holding my hat as a sign of respect.
So do you feel like when as a young queer boy, you're having these like, were these connections that you made with other girls often confused with like, oh, maybe this is my girlfriend? Or like
sometimes, but for some reason, these girls, like all these girls, they didn't scare me. They were my friends. I think that like because there were so many of them, like it wasn't like we only had like a few days to get to know each other. So I would just sit with them at lunch and talk. And it was cool. You know, it wasn't this thing of like they were trying to push one of them towards me. But that first girl, Cassandra, she wasn't really in this group. She kind of just came over for the picture, and she did kind of, there was some stuff going on. She actually had a boyfriend at the camp who I thought was so hot. His name was John. He was always shirtless and like that sort of like really skinny but ripped shirtless track boy, like running
Yeah.
around in his little track shorts. Truly, truly, truly crazy.
Who was like your celebrity crush at this time?
I'll tell you, it was deeply. And so the first person I ever remember being attracted to and getting angry about it, and I didn't know why, was Justin Timberlake. When I was in fourth or fifth grade, like I saw him in like the Tearing Up My Heart video with the white, not wife beater, with the white tank
The
top,
tank top?
like sitting like, kind of like this with his hand, with his like sort of like lounging on that like bed, and he was very sexually filmed, and I was like, all the girls at my school were obsessed with him, and
Yes.
they knew why, but I didn't know why. And I was like, I hate Justin Timberlake. I fucking hate Justin Timberlake. And they were like, wow, why do you hate him so much? And I'm like, I just hate him. And I really, it was out of a deep, deep desire to, you know, put my mouth on him.
I mean, even when he had the like ramen hair, he
It
was
didn't
so
matter.
cute.
It didn't matter. And I'll say this, it doesn't matter to this day. He
No.
could roll out of bed. He could do the whole man of the woods era, which was such bullshit. Like, I'll still open it up for JT anytime.
The hair that young boys had when we were in our youth.
Oh, a low point in the history of hair.
So I had such a crush on this boy, Lucas, whose stepbrother was in Eve 6, and we both sat in the very back of like he had an M last name, and so we both sat in like everyone had desks that were in big squares except us two had two solo desks in the back of the classroom, and I was like, this is the most romantic thing that has ever
Cosmic.
I was like, this truly like the Lord. I went to a Christian elementary school. I was like, the Lord has intervened and put Lucas and I together, and he had
the Lord got involved.
The flip, you know, the like the
was
hard.
it bleached?
It was bleached.
Thank you. So basically, I have to say, I did the flip for sure. I knew, and was even saying at the time, this bleach tip thing is not going to age well.
Not right.
I was like, this is going to be over in 12 months to 18 months, and we are going to be humiliated that we did it. So I never did that. I did highlight my hair in 10th grade.
Oh, well, let's take a look at the hair. Claudia, our producer, has independently pulled up. Claudia is actually roasting that at this point, pulling up a very spiked hair moment.
I mean, everything about this is bad. That's like, it's like, the hair is like, it looks like it's trying to be Sideshow Bob, but I have pin straight hair. Like, I don't know what is going on. Like, I guess I tried to rough it up and it ended up being this flop.
I'm getting Derek Whibley from Sum 41.
Oh my God, that's kind. The ex-husband of Miss Avril Lavigne.
The ex-husband of Miss Avril Lavigne.
Very kind.
I was one of my big loves, of course.
Oh yeah, I have to say also behind me in this photo is this kid Jimmy who dated my friend Emily, who I also had such a crush on, and he is, I think, doing a blowjob motion behind me here, which is classic humor of the time. But I also do want to point out my popped collar over a ringer tee with, you guessed it, a necklace. Sort of beaded necklace.
Now, the girl that you're with has on a lei. Are we at another themed party?
You bet your bottom dollar. We're at a Sweet 16 here. We're at the Sweet 16 of my friend Alex Dorsam, who was my girlfriend in high school, was my first kiss, and we went to prom together the year I won Senior Prom King.
Oh my God. That's beautiful.
And she had here like a luau themed Sweet 16. So I have to tell you, I came into high school with no friends, like most annoying, identity confused, like mess. Left high school being Senior Prom King. So I did, and I was nominated for Homecoming King and Junior Prom King. So I was like Amy Adams, Glenn Close overdue.
Yeah.
So,
But you got it at the end, and you got the big.
I got it. And even though there's rumors that was fixed, I got it.
Okay. Well,
There's some rumors that my friend Brittany, actually, who since passed, it's very sad, but there's some rumors that she rigged it for me and my friend Jackie.
well then good
but
for
I can't confirm or deny, and she's no longer with us to confirm or deny. So
it's actually respectful for that to remain.
it's actually would be best if we didn't speak on it because it's respectful to her memory. Okay, so speaking of proms, this is me at my junior prom. This is me with the daughter of the art teacher.
Beautiful.
So this is me with Krista. We did not go to prom together, but we were friends because I was, of course, that kid in high school who was very close to some teachers. So I was very close to Miss Knobloch, who was, get this, my art teacher, my track coach, and my class advisor.
Wow.
She also in her life had been a New York City police officer, a marathon runner, lover of the arts. She actually exposed us all to Aretha Franklin. And big old Republican at the time.
Hey,
so she truly contained multitudes. I don't know where she stands now on all of this, but I remember having like weird like disagreements with her about politics, and I was like, but you're you. You know what I mean? It made no sense to me. So this was me and her daughter Krista, and I loved Krista. She was at the prom because, you know, her mom was my class advisor. She was like throwing it. So she came and we took this fun picture together of, I guess, like a Charlie's Angels pose, which is so popular at the time.
Charlie's
really a classic.
Pose.
So that night I did lose junior prom king, but I did win this photo.
Absolutely. Do you remember your prom themes?
Girl, you know it was Under the Sea.
Oh my God. I wanted nothing more than an Under the Sea.
You know it was Under the Sea. And you know we had the other one was Old Hollywood.
Those are two.
The only themes.
Ours was just Forever Young.
Yeah, Forever Young. Sudi always makes a joke that she's like, it's either Under the Sea or Parisian Nights.
They just did Forever Young.
Or Hollywood, yeah.
And I was like, but that's not even really a theme. That's just
Forever Young. That's honestly though, it kind of takes the pressure off.
Yeah. And you know what? I will say, I did wear purple.
Huge. So when my date told me she was wearing a purple gown, I was truly excited. Also, I'm telling you right now, I would truly kill for my waist in this picture now.
It's like you're doing like a blue steel energy as well.
That was my whole vibe. I so desperately wanted to capitalize on my like facial gift I thought I had at that point. I thought I was so hot.
Well, you're being approached by Abercrombie people, Matt.
Yeah, I was like, it's a shame sexually no one can come use this because all I want to do is be used. God, I would have. Oh my God, I can't even tell you. I've wanted to fuck every boy at my high school. It was so sick.
Did you ever have like sparks fly with another boy, or were you not even able to like put?
I'll say this.
Mm-hmm.
I had a best friend in middle school who, at any point, I think it could have gotten horny. Like he would come over and we would have sleepovers. We would like look at each other's abs and like touch each other's like physiques, like just to be like, I need to work on this. Like I need to do more push-ups on this, and talk about girls, like eating out girls. And it was just so horny. Mm-hmm. And I was aware I was gay at that point, but wasn't telling anyone. I remember our favorite song was the song Picture by Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow. It was just like a lot of like fringe gay stuff. And like it could have gotten sexy at any point. And I swear to God, I wish it had. And then there was like the oft like AIM conversation I would have with someone from another town, you know what I mean? Like and I found out about a couple of kids that were gay in high school that I found out after the fact, one of which I did make out with at a bar on Christmas break. His name was Shane.
So you were able to do some retroactive work on the breaks from school, which is really all that Thanksgiving and Christmas break when you're in college are about, is like, who did I not fucked, but that I should have.
Oh man, and
How do I
I
find
wish we had sex. Honestly, all we did was like make out and like really fill each other up outside of this bar. But honestly, it's so crazy because 10 years later, like 2018, if we were in high school together, we would have been so the gay power couple. I do think it would have been okay to come out at that point.
Yes. I think I
So
remember
cool to be gay
my
now.
senior, well, yeah, now like what my little cousin.
Now Carol Baskin is bi, so it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly. They're all gay now.
yeah, everyone's gay.
But I do remember my senior year, there was a boy on the cheerleading team and he was openly gay. And that was like the first kid I remember at my school being openly gay. And I think he had a tough time doing that. I think he walked a hard road with that one.
Yeah, you graduated in 2008 high school?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this was not the era of like,
no,
there wasn't even I honestly, at the time when we were in high school, I remember when Obama like started to become a thing, I was like, there's no way. Like change was not in the air when I was on Long Island. And then all of a sudden I moved to New York and it was so exciting that people were ready to welcome new possibilities for leadership. And, I remember when there started to be more gay shows on television, like discovering Drag Race. I was like, what is this? Like, I just wasn't exposed to it in high school because another thing is the reason why it was so terrifying at the time to come out, which is why it's so much easier now, I would imagine, probably still hard, but there were just no examples of yourself in the media. Like I couldn't see my future. No one was out there living it. We had like Will and Grace, where like Will was the straight acting one who was acceptable socially, and then there was Jack who was like a fop and a joke.
Yeah. And also, you kind of watched Will and Grace and we're like, are Will and Grace gonna get together? Like, what is this? Like,
and then they had that weird plot line where it was like they were trying to get pregnant and they were gonna actually fuck. I was like, they don't want to do this. This is trauma.
Yeah, like it's not necessary. So let's talk about how did you decide to go to NYU? Like what was your journey to go to NYU and what was your journey to actually starting to become a performer at NYU?
So to be honest with you, like when I was applying to schools, I told my parents, I was like, I only want to apply to New York City schools or local schools. Cause I was a very anxious kid actually.
Mm-hmm.
I am very extroverted now. And conversation is like a trade for me now. Like I've gotten more comfortable with myself, but it took a very long time for me to be able to comfortably engage in conversation with like really any new person.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't super excited about moving away from home. But I thought I definitely want an experience where I can get away enough where I can try to explore the fact that I'm gay because I want to hook up with a boy so bad.
Yeah.
So I was like, New York City, it's perfect. We'll do this. I applied early decision to Columbia, actually got like the stamp of approval from the athletics department. I was going to be a D1 cross country athlete at Columbia, but obviously didn't get into Columbia on academics. So I then got into NYU, and I think my parents could tell like he really wants to go there, and it was super expensive, like exorbitantly so.
Mm-hmm.
But they did allow me to go. What sucked is that girl in the first picture also got into NYU. So I thought to myself, oh, fuck, she's going to want to hang out all the time. I'm not going to be able to come out after all because she's going to tell everyone at home that I'm gay. Like she was becoming more comfortable with her identity. She had like come out senior year. Like she decided she was going to be like a lesbian at NYU. And I wasn't there. And I thought, oh, she's going to like expose me to all my friends at home. Needless to say, I did go to NYU, realized it was fucking huge. I never saw her at all. But I did let that fear rule me all freshman year. So I didn't do anything I wanted to do. Sophomore year, I internal transferred into Tisch, which is the art school at NYU. And then I started writing. I was in the dramatic writing program. That's when I met Studi. That's when I started to become friends with Bowen. And I willed myself into the sketch comedy group at the time, despite having no performance experience. I was just like, I know I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah.
So I just like, by the grace of God, like crushed my audition for them. Like what became obsessed with all things culturally New York comedy. Like I was
Mhm.
like taking UCB classes and waiting on the standby line at SNL every weekend.
That's insane.
I mean, I didn't make friends freshman year. I was like at the standby line until I eventually got into a sketch comedy group and made friends.
Mhm.
Almost every week I was like out there for the SNL standby line, which is why it's so fucking insane what has transpired.
I know.
Um,
So
and I
now you're like
actually, I did.
multiple best friends all
Oh,
and
Sudhi's
writing
like a
for the show.
supervising writer there.
Yeah,
Bowen's like the star of it. I actually tested for it twice. They
I
kept they
did.
they called me back to they kept me on hold. I really thought I had a chance. It didn't work out, which is totally fine. Totally fine.
But for a boy who
But
was
it was
standing in
wild.
the standby line for so long, it's like
It was a
that's
dream come
such an
true.
incredible, crazy journey.
It was a dream come true because my entire I just couldn't believe that it was happening. Like my entire existence, all throughout my 20s. I'll be really real. So I was like really depressed my freshman year. Like I remember I was like trying to make friends. It wasn't happening. There was a day where I didn't get into the standby line because there's no guarantees. And I had sat out in the cold for like hours and hours and hours. I think it was the Paul Rudd and Beyonce episode, which ended up being like an iconic episode where she did like a single lady sketch and Justin Timberlake was there. It was like so cool. And I didn't get it. And I sat on my bed and I just started crying and crying and crying. And I was like, I know that I'm like a valid person. Like I know it. I can't be this sad all the time. So I literally got on my laptop and I Googled the person that I admired most in the world. And it
Mhm.
was Amy Poehler. And so I typed in Amy Poehler and like saw UCB and like read all about how she got to where she was. And then I literally just like essentially tried to copy her. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I have to get into my comedy group at the college. I have to take classes at this place, Upright Citizens Brigade. I have to like start now, like because she started in college. So I have to start in college. I'm already behind. People have been doing improv since high school. Like, what am I doing? Like, we didn't even have that. Like, I just made it my mission. And I'm telling you, I willed myself to be in these positions where I could just maybe try to prove I had some talent. And then luckily I did. So, and it took me all the way to where I almost got on that show and I didn't, which was hard.
Yeah.
But ultimately, now looking back, I'm so happy everything's worked out the way that it has. And it's just like truly, it feels like the bookends of my experience of my 20s that was very sort of defined by the like trauma of being a closeted gay kid.
Mhm.
Like I'm so pleased with it. I really am.
That's so beautiful. And that's such a perfect place for me to ask you our final question of
Ah,
the show. I feel like we could chat forever, but
I know.
okay. If you could talk to teen Matt today, what would you tell him?
Oh my gosh. Well, I would tell him that he was dead on about pretty much that bleached hairstyle. I was
Yeah.
like, just so you know, you are slaying with this opinion. I would tell him that he is funny, that he doesn't have to worry as much, and that he's gonna be really happy, and that he doesn't have to worry about that much. Wow, that makes me
Aw.
really emotional because I was such a sad kid.
Mhm.
And I would also tell him that I would tell him to do the things he wants to do. I would say, you know, no, it's not going to matter in a decade what anyone had to say about you auditioning for the swing choir, Matt.
Yeah.
You like singing and you're a good singer. So you should be in the swing choir. It'll make you happy and it'll make the swing choir better.
Yeah. And you could be
Um
Conrad Birdie and you would be really fucking good.
I know, and I wish I could just tell myself to get out of my own way because I
Yeah.
spent ultimately in the grand scheme I didn't spend that much time, but you know, the world is so cruel to people that don't fit into it
Yeah.
on face value. And so like now my heart is going out to you know the people I think that are the most persecuted, which are trans people. Like there's it seems like there's still this dragging of the feet to sort of be like, no, trans women, trans
Yeah.
men are men, like trans lives are valid, like we like trans lives matter, like
If there's a
obviously,
trans kid at your school, let them use the bathroom that they want to use so they don't have to be harassed
yeah.
and holding their pee all day because they're scared. Like,
Yeah, I just wish that we could be more compassionate in terms of just like human to human, what we all need and what we all want, which is to be happy and comfortable and safe and to be able to be in an environment where you can learn and grow and show who you are and share that with people. And I
yeah,
feel like we unfortunately live in a world that I thought was improving in that way. And then the last few years have been very difficult to
yeah,
see how that's not true. But it's I just hope that the world gets kinder, and I hope that people are kinder to themselves. And so that's what I would tell myself. I would just say, just be so much nicer to yourself because you are literally not a freak. Like
you're a
one
beautiful
day
boy.
I was, it just, it, yeah, it just was so, it was so hard to exist. And now I'm like, I just wish I wish I could tell myself at that age how successful I was going to be and that how happy I was going to be. And that literally the thing I hate about myself is going to be my superpower.
Yeah,
And is going to be like um, not what people like about me, but so much of what unlocks like who I really am and why people like me. So
yeah.
yeah, that.
Matt, that's so beautiful. This has been such an amazing chat.
Wow.
Let's reconnect.
What I have to say, Alise, like, what a great progression of this show. Like,
Thank you.
I'm so happy that you decided to do it as a podcast because it really, I said this many times when I was in New York, but your show it was one of my top 3 favorite shows in New York that I ever did. I had such a fun time doing it that night. You really turned it into something that's just
Yeah.
as valid and really, really nice,
Well,
inspiring. So
Matt, thank you
rock
so
on.
much. And to everyone listening at home, this has been the Roast of Your Teenage Self podcast.